Brings me no pleasure to do this segment yet again. I wish this wasn't the case, but it is. Politico is reporting the following. Vulnerable Democrats fret after getting a shock. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign cash. Ocasio-Cortez's largesse and an oversight at the campaign headquarters has raised awkward questions among her colleagues. So, let me just sum up for you what happened here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is donating to centrist establishment Democrats. Most Democrats who do this, elected Democrats who do this, they give to the DCCC, which is basically Establishment Democrat Central. And what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did is she didn't go through the DCCC because the DCCC doesn't like her and establishment Democrats don't like her. What she did is she donated directly to the centrist establishment anti-Medicare for all Democrats, directly to their campaigns. Now, the reason why this is a story is many of those Democrats saw that she donated and they were like, I don't want your money. And the reason I don't want your money is because you're, a big bad far lefty and the Republicans are going to use this against us and they're going to use it to say we're all democratic socialists and we're for icky things like healthcare and living wages, and we don't want to be dragged down in our more moderate districts, and we can see the attack ads running now that link you to us, and we don't want it, so some of them are returning the money. Now, the next question is, okay, Kyle, how much is she really giving? How much did she really give them? Well, according to the article, it's about $160,000. See, the thing is, a lot of people don't know this, the thing is, she's a phenomenal fundraiser. But she's not a phenomenal fundraiser in the traditional sense where, like, Nancy Pelosi gets all of her money through big financial institutions, through corporate America. And so that's one of the reasons why she's been in government since 1602. But the other reason why Nancy Pelosi is at the top of the party is because she's one of the most prolific fundraisers and she gets it from big money donors. Ocasio-Cortez rivals Nancy Pelosi in fundraising, but Ocasio-Cortez gets all of her money through small dollar donations from regular people. So, this was her trying to, and they bring this up in the article too, they're like, oh, it appears like this is a good sign for democratic unity, even though the establishment centrist types hate the fact that she gave the money. So what's going on here? I mean, listen, I wish the answer wasn't this gross, but I think it is this gross. Ocasio-Cortez, I don't know how many of you recall this, but recently she was up for a vote for a committee assignment. It was viewed as like a foregone conclusion that she would get that committee assignment. And then she lost because virtually all the establishment centrists rallied against her and they picked somebody who's a conservative Democrat. And the conventional wisdom is the reason they voted against her is because there have been a number of examples of Ocasio-Cortez supporting primaries against elected establishment Democrats. And in Washington, D.C., that's viewed as complete heresy. That's viewed as like, how dare you? We all made it inside the club, and now you're launching cruise missiles at other people inside the club. That's not acceptable. And so this was a way to try to discipline her, to get her to fall in line and be a good little girl for the party, and that's exactly what she ended up doing. So this is her waving the white flag and saying, okay, my bad. Yes, I bucked the party narrative perhaps too much, and so now I want to get back in everybody's good graces. What can I do to help? And then she donates $160,000 to centrist Democrats in more so-called moderate districts. These are anti-Medicare for all Democrats. And so this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez trying to get back in the good graces of the establishment. That's what this is. Because they came after her when she stepped out of line and endorsed primary opponents against some of them. And instead of doubling down on that fight, being very public with that fight, growing a backbone and saying, no, I'm supporting primary opponents against you because you guys aren't for Medicare for all. You guys aren't for the policies that I'm for. You're not for the American people. Instead of doing that, what does she do? Okay, you win, but please, don't come after me anymore. Don't kick me off committees anymore. Don't do anything negative against me because now I'm going to help you. And it's like, I think she's doing like $5,000 a pop to a bunch of them. So, I mean, there is literally no way of spinning this that could potentially be positive for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, I guess you could make some sort of stretch theory of like, she's donating to them in order to try to tank their campaigns because she knows that it might hurt them if they're associated with her in that district. And so it's like a high-level chess move of like, oh, I could tank them by acting like I'm helping them because now my name is associated with them and they're going to be attacks launched on that. But that's not true. I don't think that's true at all. I think the reality is what I described, which is she knows that, the establishment doesn't like her because she stepped out of line one too many times. And so now she's trying to be a good girl and get back in their good graces. So this is her trying to play ball with the club in order to work with them, get along with them, and not be an outcast. I really think there's no other logical explanation. And so, I mean, this is a betrayal of what she was sent there to do. She was sent there to shake things up. She even said it, hey, if I'm a one-termer but I get shit done, I'd rather be a one-termer and get shit done than be there forever and not get anything done. This is a betrayal of what we sent her to do. I mean, when we created Justice Democrats, and she was one of the first Justice Democrats, the whole conversation was the people that we're electing are for our policies. They can't be corrupt. They can't take any big money or corporate money. And they have to be for, Medicare for all, free college, a living wage, ending the wars. They have to be for all the right things. And these are the only people we're supporting. And now, with all of the name recognition she has and all the influence and power she has, she's trying to go along to get along and donate to more centrist candidates. And by the way, their reaction is just too perfect because it shows you what we knew they were going to do anyway. Even with her trying to get along with them now and helping them, they're like, they run to Politico, they run to the media to be like, we don't want your help, we don't like you, we don't agree with you. So she's trying to be extra nice to them to get along, and they still spit in her face. It's like, you want to sit her down and say, what did you learn? What did you learn? These people don't like you. They're never going to like you. They're never going to agree with you. And what you're doing is absolutely pathetic, donating to them, trying to get back in their good graces. No actual lefty should be supporting any Democrat, especially in primary elections, if they're not supportive of our policies. Why would you do that? The only reason you do that is because you're a tribal, partisan, blue no matter who clown. And you think rah team, yay Democrats, no matter what they actually do substantively. And I think that's stupid. How have, the attempts at marginal improvement gone over the past few decades? How have they gone? You take one step forward and two steps backward, because then when you do the incremental change, the Republicans come in there and destroy it and make things even worse. This stuff isn't going to stand the test of time. FDR's rolling over in his grave right now, looking at how this party is completely taken over by corporations and looking at, the neoliberal reform era. This is devastating. This is terrible. And so even with her reaching out to these centrists and establishment types and giving them money, they still spit in her face. So she's doubly embarrassed and besmirched. It's beyond pathetic. They're never going to like you. They're never going to agree with you. So you may as well have the courage of your convictions and stand up and fight for the things you believe in and take everybody down along with you. You know what I mean? Go out with some dignity and some honor if you're going to go out. These guys are assholes. They've always been assholes. So why are you trying to go along to get along with them when they're going to spit in your eye anyway? Unless, of course, you don't really believe the things that you claimed you believed in. And that ultimately, the higher goal for you is climbing within the party. And I don't want that to be the case. But reading a story like this, it's hard to not conclude that. Because there should be no scenario wherein Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez donates to Democrats who are against the left's main policies. So, again, completely unacceptable. She's really giving a lot of ammo to her left-wing critics here. For sure. Do I think there are some criticisms of her that are completely unfair? I do. But any criticism over this is absolutely fair. It's absolutely fair. You're donating to people who are ideological enemies within the party. If there is a Democratic civil war going on, and there is, you're taking the side of the enemy in that battle. You're taking the side of the corporatists. Why would you donate money to them? You should be launching attacks against them, using public pressure campaigns to get them to fall in line behind our popular policies. And this is not that. It's not even close to that. Oh my God. It's just, it really is depressing, man. This makes me depressed. What has happened to her? What has happened to her? $160,000 to establishment Democrats, and they spit in your face anyway and embarrass you anyway. Tell you, I don't want your money. She's really not a great leader for the movement and a great leader for the moment. She's just not. She's running around like a chicken with her head cut off. She gets disrespected by the establishment of Nancy Pelosi, and then she falls in line and tries to get them back on her side. There is no insider game that you're going to win, AOC. You're going to get crushed in the insider game. That's their specialty. That's what they're good at. That's what they're good at. The only way you win is doing the outsider game, the public pressure campaign game, the activist game. You should want all of them to be your enemies, and you should wear that as a badge of honor. Instead, you act like a subservient little puppy dog, and they disrespect you again anyway. Congrats. Congrats. This has got to feel great.